John Wayne Boyer was born at Camp Lejeune in 1957. The military family moved around a lot, but we know Boyer moved back to southeastern North Carolina around 1980, eventually starting a career as a truck driver. Boyer worked for multiple companies, including A.C. Widenhouse, a regional trucking company that also has offices in Concord and Wilmington. Dispatchers there tell us Boyer made runs in a truck like this across North and South Carolina. Employment records show Boyer also drove in many other states. Job applications show he changed job frequently and sometimes quit without notice. Former co-workers describe Boyer this way.
Tried to be a ladies' man, but he had a bad attitude.
Terry Renshaw worked with Boyer in the early 90s. He describes Boyer as quick-tempered and says Boyer frequented local bars trying to pick up women.
Talk about him going in there trying to get all the women to go out with him and trying to be a ladies' man. Anybody, any woman would get in the truck with him, they'd pick him up.
Another trucker recalls another incident when they drove for Twisdale.
I mentioned that to my boss. When I got back, I said, Boyer was down there at the truck stop arguing with some woman over the radio. You know, we were probably prostitutes, but, and he just kind of shrugged it off. Yeah, you know, same old.
On a job application, Boyer, in his own words, lists his hobbies as hunting, fishing, and chasing girls. A female co-worker at MCO Trucking in Wilmington who did not want to go on camera told us Boyer propositioned her to get into his truck once. She did not go. Managers at Port City Transport say Boyer was fired in September of 1992 after he was accused of raping a woman in Ohio. The company executive says police asked to see Boyer's driving logs in connection with that case, and while he was not arrested in North Carolina for that crime, investigators told that executive Boyer would be charged if he ever returned to Ohio. Now that Boyer is charged with killing 3 women in 3 states, former co-workers wonder if they witnessed clues to those crimes in his past behavior.
Once you get to see a person every day and the way they talk and the way they act, and then things start happening, you know, it don't surprise you.
I always remember riding down the road with him, and he stopped to help a girl. I thought he was going to help a girl. I mean, you know, I didn't know his intentions at the time.
Jonathan Threet remembers a trip he says he and Boyer took to Texas in separate trucks back in 2000.
Once we got into South Carolina, it was through Dillon. I topped a hill and I spotted a broke down car.
Threet says he told Boyer about the disabled vehicle on the CB radio.
He can't see as good as you can if you're in the lead.
But he says instead of changing lanes to avoid the car, Boyer stopped.
He pulled over immediately. I mean, he really got on the brakes hard. And once he saw it was a young girl, and that just, I just knew in the back of my mind, you know, why does she need his help?
Threet says he doesn't know what happened after Boyer stopped. Boyer told him to go on to Texas and he would meet him there, which he did.
He never said a word about it, but I noticed he was just agitated.
Threet and Boyer drove for Twisdale Trucking in Wilmington. Some of their main routes included Leland to Houston, or 95 to 20, then up to Tennessee, then to Kentucky, or another route took them to Morristown, Tennessee. Boyer's linked to murders in Tennessee, North, and South Carolina.
We'd always come back those same routes, you know, and we'd always come by the same truck stops.
People we spoke with say their experience with Boyer was never pleasant. One truck driver tells us that over the radio he heard Boyer fighting with a prostitute at this truck stop off I-95 near Dillon, South Carolina.
All I had to do was work with him, you know, but he was just a very unpleasant person.
And now that John Wayne Boyer may be connected to the murders of as many as 3 women, Threet wonders what happened after he drove off that day so many years ago.
It was just a little odd to me how he pulled over as quick as he did. It was like it was an opportunity for him.
Brianna Wadden, News 14 Carolina.
We're learning more about this man, accused serial killer John Wayne Boyer. News 14 Carolina has learned that he lived in the Wilmington area for years. Court records show Boyer with numerous minor violations dating back to the 80s. Records show he lived in both Brunswick and New Hanover County. Boyer is currently serving time in a Wayne County prison for the 2003 murder of Scarlett Wood. Boyer was convicted of second-degree murder in that case in 2007. And just this week, we learned Boyer confessed to killing 34-year-old Michelle Hagedorn and dumping her body near a South Carolina rest area in August of 2000. Her family tells us they are planning a memorial service for sometime in October. We also know that criminal investigators are looking into whether Boyer could be connected to other unsolved crimes.
Michelle Bollinger and Scarlett Wood were close friends, and she says she didn't approve of Wood spending time with John Wayne Boyer.
I met him a few times, and there was something about him I didn't like him. I didn't like him. I didn't like being around him.
Bollinger says Wood babysat for Boyer when she was just 16, and as years went on, the relationship grew.
He would give her money, and she would go spend time with him. And he fell in love with her, and she didn't want nothing to do with him like that, and that just sent him off the edge.
Wood disappeared in 2003, and her skeletal remains were discovered in this wooded area off Carr Avenue in 2004, but they went unidentified until 2006. Boyer was convicted of second-degree murder in 2007. Bollinger says she knew what Boyer was capable of before he was convicted and before the latest developments surfaced.
He had made a remark to some other people that we knew, hearsay, that he had killed a lady before, and nobody ever found her body.
The New Hanover County District Attorney's Office handled the Wood murder case back in 2007, and New Hanover County District Attorney Ben Davis says they're committed to helping authorities in other states, especially because Michelle Hagedorn has ties to the Wilmington area.
We are certainly going to use all of our best efforts from a law enforcement and prosecutor standpoint to assist the South Carolina authorities and also the Tennessee authorities to make sure that they build on the work that we've already begun to establish against Mr. Boyer to make sure that full justice is done.
And while justice doesn't bring the victims back, Bollinger says it helps.
You never forget, but closure helps more than anything.
In Wilmington, Brianna Wadden, News 14 Carolina.